Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mr. Joshua with another custom toy review. So, this afternoon, I'd like to show off to you guys the final product of the blue Senturion Ranger. With this guy, he was actually the very first, figure that I've ever sculpted with epoxy. And, it is a little, rough. It's pretty, basic shapes and whatnot, but the main reason why I made this figure is because I got into the Power Rangers Lightning collection, and unfortunately, neither Legacy or the Lightning ever made the attempt to make the Blue Senturion Ranger. So I just, brought it upon myself to make one. So as you can see here, this isn't the actual gun that he's going to be keeping. This is just kind of like a standalone, like just for looks. It does look pretty cool, but unfortunately it just doesn't hold well in his hand. The grip needs to be a whole lot bigger. So let's get down to it. Now, the figure itself really isn't in that bad condition. Originally used this figure called the Night Thrasher or Dark Thrasher or some shit. Anyways, long story short, it was some black superhero from the Marvel universe. So the body is a Marvel Legends figure, which was originally 6 inches tall. So that's pretty cool. And originally when I built this figure, I wanted it to be the same scale as the Power Rangers Lightning collection. So yeah, I can pair it up with the Lightning collection whenever I just put them on for display. But unfortunately, they really aren't. Unfortunately, this guy is just a tad bit taller than the Lightning collection. It's pretty funny. He's not tall enough to be with the Legacy, but he's too tall to be with Lightning, so he's like 6.25 inches tall, give or take. And here's, just for comparison, here's the Legacy Ranger that I'm currently working on. Paint rub on the joints. That's always fucking fun. But yeah, you can see the comparison. This is a 6.5 and this is like 6.25, a little bit taller for the Legacy. Fuck. But yeah, if I absolutely have to, I think I can pair him up with Lightning. I don't think it's really gonna be that much of a problem, just as long as I don't pair him up with like any bad guys, like Lord Zed, for example. But yeah, he was originally Night Thrasher. I took the head off. I actually sculpted an Ninja head with the Night Thrasher head. Pretty cool stuff. But yeah, I took that off. I grabbed an original blue Senturion Ranger from the 90s, and I basically scrapped the figure. I took the actual shoulder pads off the figure. I hollowed those out, super glued them onto the shoulders. And I took the original head. As you can see here with the original head, it's not painted yet. That's actually the very last thing I'm going to do. But luckily for me, the paint literally just came in like 10 minutes ago, so that's good. So I got to paint up these little gash marks that were there since God knows when. But with the head, what I did was I used some epoxy sculpt, and right in here you can probably see it, but what I did was I filled that up to get rid of the little screw hole where the screw would go into, tighten the head down together. And then on the inside of the head, I took out that gap on the inside that basically holds everything together. And so after I hollowed the inside of the head, I took some hot glue and filled it halfway up. And I pinched it really, really hard and made sure the seams are as close as they can possibly get. And then I let the glue, cool down for a good, 5-6 minutes. I sat there holding like this for a good 5 or 6 minutes. And after it's done, cool enough, I filled the rest of it up with hot glue and put it on the ball joint. And there we go. Moves and everything. Pretty cool stuff. But overall, the figure is, pretty cool. The picture really doesn't give it much justice, even though the figure itself, all the parts I've done to it are pretty, basic. One of the very last things I did to this figure was I fixed the gap problem underneath here. I try to level that out as much as possible with the Dremel, and it looks pretty decent, not gonna lie. He is pretty tall and scrawny, which it's totally okay. He's gloss. He has his little power morpher there. I know for a fact that this power morpher isn't like an exact replica of what he had on his arm, but bear with me. I wasn't trying to model the figure like directly from the Blue Senturion. I was trying to put my own variation of what he'd look like if he was more up to date. And since I made him my way, I just wanted him to look like he actually had like armor pieces all over him, little bits and pieces of armor. One of the reasons why I didn't mess around with this part right here, why it's blank, is because I really didn't want to fuck with the articulation, because he goes all the way back like that. Well, I guess I could have maybe put a very, very thin piece of armor right there in his back or something. Maybe in the near future I might come back and kind of put like one of those cool, like, thick, straight down lines of like a weird skeleton looking, armor on the back, like back support or something, we'll see. But he's pretty glossy too. I really like the way the figure came out. And he still has, most of his posability. The only part that I kind of had to take out was his, upper arm, movements. We can't really go back and forth. He can and he can't. It's about as far as he can go. Which, it's okay, Same with that guy. Barely go up and down. The articulation's still there, but I just didn't want to, mess up the shoulder pads even more than what they actually are. But he really does have some great articulation. He can do some pretty cool poses. I call this his like dramatic Batman pose. One arm up, just kind of, maybe looking down at a city. Since he's like a weird, like, cyber robot fucking cop thing, maybe he's looking down at the city. Not a bad looking figure. Really like the way that came out. And, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's not perfect. It's, I'm a beginner when it comes to, sculpting the figure out and stuff, but on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give this guy about a, maybe about 7. Which, it's about a C, 7 out of 10. He really isn't that bad looking at the figure. And I actually thought about battle scarring the figure too, just to kind of give him more detail, but then again, I eventually want to sell this figure when I'm done, with the figure, so we'll see what happens. But, yeah, that's all they have for this figure. Now, he's pretty sexy. Again, very posable, which is the big reason why I bought this figure in the first place. One, because it was cheap. It was like 13 bucks out the door. And two, the posability on this figure is fucking, great. There. He's a good looking figure. Truly one of a kind. I know it's not the greatest looking, but when I know he's not the greatest looking, but when you can get yourself an actual blue senturion ranger with good articulation, you kind of have to make your own, you know. But yeah, that's all they have for this figure. It's a great looking figure, and if anybody wants to buy them, shoot me a comment on the comment section. And that's all that I have for this video. This is probably the last video that I'm gonna make for a while. I'm getting married in like fucking 3 days, so that's always fun. And after that, I gotta figure out if I'm gonna, actually pursue the Navy. And it's probably gonna be one of the hardest decisions of my life, because right now I'm at the age where I should be having at least 1 or 2 kids right now. And I have a weird feeling that we'll get my future wife knocked up during the, during the honeymoon, if you know what I'm talking about. And I guess the hard part about joining a Navy when you're married is the fact that, you can't be there for your wife when she needs like the simple things. Like with me, unfortunately, my fiance, she's like 5'1". I'm 6'4", and so it's really hard for her to do simple things like, get up to the top, shelf to get a cup down or something simple like that. And another thing too is that it's gonna be fucking hard on her to take care of the household when I leave her, if I do. I'd like to see her fucking mow the lawn at least once or twice. She's never done it before since we moved into this house. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just want to see how funny it would be because, she talked me into getting a small version of a weed whacker because she convinced me that she was going to, weed whack and trim the lawn for me. She's like, yeah, I'll trim the edges if you just, fucking mow. And I was like, are you sure? I mean, I have a weird feeling you're not going to be fucking using that weed whacker. And she convinced me to get the smaller weed whacker, and she's never weed whacked yet, and it's been 3 years. I tried weed whacking with that fucking weed whacker, and it's so small, I literally have to like crouch down and bzzz. It was such a bitch. It was a piece of shit weed whacker too, let me tell you. But yeah, I'll let you guys know about the whole Navy process. I'm actually going to be taking the ASVAB in March. I wanted to take it this month, but unfortunately I can't because one of the wedding, and we have family showing up within the next like hour or so, and I'm just gonna be very, very busy. So I'm gonna, after I get back from the honeymoon, I'm gonna get back down and buckle down on the ASVAB and study my fucking ass off until I get good scores, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully I score at least a 48. That's what I'm shooting for. I know that my recruiter told me to score at least a 50, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll surprise myself and score like a 70 or something insane. But yeah, that's all I have for this, figure review. If you guys like my videos, again, please like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.